At least 6 people have died in a significant building fire in a Wellington hostel in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Damage to the building had meant that firefighters had been unable to search every area of the hostel. At this stage, less than 20 people are considered missing. Many may be unaccounted for, meaning that they may well be safe and well. They just haven't contacted the authorities at this point. So we do encourage those that were staying at the hostel, if they are safe and well, please do reach out to authorities to aid with the investigation. Initially, more than 50 people were unaccounted for, so I think there's a blessing that at this point less than 20 people are considered missing. The fire is currently considered to be caused by arson. Police have opened a homicide inquiry. It will take several days for the police to enact a thorough examination, a thorough search of the property. Fire services were called to Loafers Lodge on Adelaide Road in Newtown, Wellington, around 12:25 a.m. A couple of hours before that, a couch was on fire, but it's believed to likely be 2 separate events, but there was a fire on a couch earlier that evening. The response was raised to a 5th alarm after crews saw a well-involved fire on the top floor. Fire and Emergency Deputy National Commander Brendan Nally has said that there were no sprinklers in the building. How does that happen nowadays? I mean, I'm no expert here, but the image that we see, the building doesn't look that old, and even if it were, sprinklers seems to be a pretty standard thing in this day and age, I would have thought. According to Wellington City Council, the building was issued a warrant of fitness in March 2023, so just a couple of months ago, with no concerns raised by the building inspector. So I'm interpreting this to mean that Wellington is perfectly fine with non-residential buildings, commercial buildings and such, hostels amongst other types of buildings. It's perfectly fine for them not to have sprinklers. I'm thinking that that's perhaps an issue. Around 92 people were living at the 94-room lodge, which provides short and long-term accommodation. We've got a couple of quotes from a couple of residents. One resident, Chris, described crawling out of his room on the 3rd floor to escape. Here's a quote. "It was black as, thick as smoke. It was hard to breathe. For me, it was hard, just that little distance. It was a struggle." And Chris lost all of his belongings in the fire, but of course, many others have lost so much more. Another resident who stayed on the 1st floor said that he went around knocking on doors to wake people up. He yelled, "Get out, there's a fire, this one's real." And the reason why he said this one's real is because many of the residents have said that the fire alarms regularly went off. Some of the residents have said that on this occasion the alarms did not go off. Others have said that the alarm did go off. But either way, we've been there before, haven't we? I certainly have, where you're in a building and the fire alarm goes off every 5 minutes. So you learn to ignore the fire alarm. You learn to not react, to put in your earplugs. We're told that 5 people were rescued by firefighters from the roof of the building. 15 or more were treated at the scene. We're told that there may be the risk of asbestos that hasn't been confirmed, but there may have been asbestos in the roof, which may have affected local residents, those that were at the scene during the fire. So let's hope that isn't the case. So that's pretty much all the information that we have. It's an absolute tragedy. At least 6 dead, up to 20 unaccounted for, but as I say, it is believed that the majority of those 20 will be safe and well, that they just haven't come forward to make authorities know that they are indeed safe and well. Full condolences to all the family and friends of all of the victims. Again, it's believed to be arson at this stage, so let's hope an investigation gets to the bottom of that. I would imagine that's going to be pretty difficult at a guess. I can't imagine that there would be CCTV footage or anything. Maybe there could be. A lot of footage is recorded on the cloud nowadays, I believe, so hopefully that could be the case. So there perhaps was cameras in certain areas of the building, lobbies and such, and perhaps the footage is saved if it was stored off-site via the cloud. But either way, let's hope that the investigation does yield results and the culprit or culprits, if they are still alive, which they may not be, but let's hope that they are forced to face full justice.